Hello everybody. I'm going to do a get ready with me today, not so much because I think you're really anxious to watch me put my makeup on, but because there are a couple of things I wanted to talk to you about. Let me start out by just telling you I've done my skincare this morning, and I did put on my basic makeup. I did put on my, today I used my Miraness Velvet Maxi Lift airbrush makeup. And that is one of the makeups that's my go-to. As you know, I love their products. Okay, I used my Hoola, I used my Butter Bronzer, and today I just decided for some reason I want to go pink. So I used that Princessa, whatever it is, the matte blush I had gotten from Shop Miss A. It is a lot of color. And when I put it on, it is also, powdery, really powdery. You have to be really careful and use very, very little of it. I had too much of it on when I put it on, and it bothered me because I didn't want to look like a Cubie doll. So I used my Blend Smart brush, and I just blended it in so it no longer had that pop of pink. And that was too much. So as you know, I still love this, and I'll have a link below to the Blend Smart brushes that are available now. What else did I do? I really didn't do too much more. I put my primer on. I always use my Urban Decay primer for my eyes, and that's done. So let's take it from there. There were a couple of things I wanted to talk to you about today, and one of them was because people, have been talking to me a lot lately. By the way, this is Revlon Color Stay, and I'm just using that as the base. Pretty color. It really is. It's a nice goldy color. People have been asking me about, this need that I have and have had for all of my life to help people. It started for me at a very, very young age. When I was 6, I've told you already, 6.5, I believe it was. My favorite Uncle Harry died very unexpectedly to the world. Not to him, because 3 days before he died, he told somebody that he was the next to go, even though he was in his 50s and certainly had been a healthy man up to that point. When he died, see, other people can, I'm using the berries palette today, by the way, and I love that, the BYS berries, and I've given you a link to that before. Okay, so he died and I was totally devastated. I spent many days and many nights lying across the bed with my feet up on the wall, crying my eyes out and imploring God, starting with sundown for the transition, and imploring God to tell me why did he have to leave me? And then I started to have some of those feelings that I think we all have when somebody close to us dies, where we start to wonder why they chose to leave us, knowing full well, of course, that that's not a conscious choice they make most of the time unless somebody takes their own lives. But that was my process. And during that time of feeling so melancholy and so sad, I'm now going to take the next color down because I want a little bit more color, and that one's called Royalty. What I had done was my whole life, I talk to God a lot. I just have conversations. And I used to say, I want to help people. I don't know why I said this when I was that young, but I did. And I said, I don't want anybody to feel the way I'm feeling. I don't want anybody to suffer what I'm suffering. And this was something that I used to say, and I went on like this for years. Well, I don't know if it was as a result of a fall that I took when I was very young, 3.5. No, it had to be, it was summertime. 3, I would guess, when I was with my Aunt Yetta. And she let me go on the slide. And in those days, of course, they had no protection on the ground from the slide. I'm going to go in with the purpley colors today to try to stay in this pink kind of theme. They didn't, and I'm using a flat brush. So I had fallen off. What happened was I got up to the top of the slide and I was wearing shorts, little shorts, with a little bit of a cuff, I think. And on the metal handle that you held onto to go down the slide, apparently my shorts got caught. And instead of going down the slide, I careened off the side of it and landed flat on my head. And I actually have a flat spot on my head all of my life as a result of that fall. When I fell, apparently I was knocked out cold. And I can't tell you at this point if it was my recollection or if it was the stories that were told to me afterwards. I'm now going in with this sort of redder color. So I don't know if it was my recollection or if it was something that was told to me, but apparently people told my aunt, who was frantic because she was taking care of me. My mother was at work, and actually a lot of things happened when my aunt took care of us, but that's another whole story. She really was a lovely, caring woman who meant well. She had no children of her own, and it was just, she was too indulgent, and my brother split his chin once, and it was bad. So apparently these people said that I was a goner and not to bother even calling a doctor. So whether it was because I heard it or whether it was because it was something that she had told in retelling the story, my connection was if you passed out, it meant you were dying. So that's an interesting aside, because that's something that I sort of carried with me for much of my life, never making the connection until one day I did. Long story. In any case, about why I wanted to help. So what happened was, I think it was around the time that Harry died and that I was going through this real crisis of spirit, that I started to see things. I started to experience things, and I sort of had a knowledge of things many times before they happened. My mother had it too, but my mother referred to it as woman's intuition. And her mother before her had it as well. So I guess there was something there in the genes that there was this slightly open door, or whatever you want to call it. But I started to feel other people's pain, and I started to know things sometimes before they happened. So I really had a tremendous need at that point to make a difference and make sure that nobody felt the way I felt. And this is beginning to make me think that I look like a crazy person. I don't know if this video will ever hit the airwaves. Okay, at this point I am ready to do my under eye concealing. And I always start out now with my Yves Saint Laurent Touche Éclat, and I apply that on the inside of the eye and just closest to the eye. It's a lighter color and it's a thinner consistency than the Shape Tape. And the Shape Tape is what I use on the bottom. All right, at this point, I'm going to take this kind of pointed brush that's a little bit on the bigger side, and I'm going to use it to blend in the dark corner on the inside of my eye and go all the way across here. There was another thing I really wanted to talk to you about, and that is, after having my 2 discussions with David and the things that he had mentioned, started this thought germinating in my brain about getting back to my writing. And I had a thought, I think it started actually with Susan, little poet, when she referred to the writing, and she referred to what David said and the way he sees life, and so it just started it for me, and I was thinking I may try to write another book, but I wanted to do something different, and it suddenly occurred to me, what fun would it be, or how interesting might it be for all of our subscribers and viewers if I were to write something just under the lines, to write something about the ladies of YouTube, each one having her own chapter, and each one telling me her story that I can then write about where she was in her life at the time that she chose to start a channel. So what I need to know is, because I think there are very real reasons for each of us that we got into it, and they're different for each one of us. And I think our lives, we certainly can give a little bit of an indication about what life was like before, or how different our lives might have been before whatever the impetus was for us to start doing this. All right, this is where I just take my finger and the heat of my finger to kind of blend it in. Using it to pounce just a little bit across here. So I'm layering this because I really think that I need it that way, because my bags, I don't know, maybe my stress level adds to it with all the things that are going on in my world. I'm just going to add a little bit of the Miraness Concealer Ombre Stick to this dark place right here. And let me know if you see the difference in that. I think the angle of my camera probably is not right to make this stuff go away. While I'm doing that, I'm going to add this to my nose, just the bridge of my nose, to make my nose appear just a tiny bit thinner and more defined. And I will take my Hoola Quickie Contour Stick and just use that. It's really too big for this, but I use it occasionally anyway, just to create a line that I'll then blend in. Do you see it? Okay, I will then take that and I will blend it into my nose to just make it a subtle transition from the light to the shadow. I'm not sure if you can see it. The light, again, I'm dealing with a strange day with the way the light is coming in. So, all right, that is that. For that aspect of it, I think I need a tiny little bit more definition on my cheeks for my shading. Just the line to add a little bit more definition in there. And blending up, always blending up. Okay. So, I think it might be something fun and it might be something interesting. I actually had written the first couple of sentences of what would be my chapter. So let me tell you what that is. Let me know if you would have any interest in it as a reader. And for the ladies who have the YouTube channels, let me know if you would have any interest in sharing the stories with me so that I could write it. So once again, what I need to know is whether or not you ladies who have the YouTube channels would have any interest in sharing your stories with me about what made you get into it, what was going on in your life, and perhaps how different your life was before that. What I would do, as I say, is do a separate chapter for each one of you, and I would have a link to your channel at the end of the chapter. And I just thought it might be something interesting. What I'm going to do is I'm going to read to you the couple of sentences that I wrote that would be the start of my chapter. It's rough. I would definitely rework it, but it was just something that sort of came to mind. So hang in for a second. I'm going to have to do it handheld for this portion of it because I need to do a little bit of reading of exactly what it was that I wrote. Okay. The night sky stood in stark contrast to my mood, lit with stars that twinkled playfully if you squinted just enough, and a moon beckoning lovers to come out and play in her almost brilliant light. Inside was another story altogether. I sat cross-legged, trying to figure out what exactly was causing this feeling in the pit of my stomach. You know the feeling. Something is out of sync. The world appears normal, but something is awry. You just don't know what it is yet. That's all I've written so far, but just to give you a little bit of an idea of my style. And I really want to know from you if you think it's something that you would be interested in, as I say, either as a viewer or as a contributor. Because if I were to do it using the ladies of YouTube, I would have to have enough interest to have enough chapters to make that work. If not, I'll write a book about something different. But I thought it would be interesting, and I thought there would be a lot of people who might be interested in reading it, so you tell me. Okay, back now to finishing this look, and I have to tell you, you ladies who do this on a regular basis and you talk about other things, I cannot obviously walk and chew gum at the same time because I'm finding this really difficult to do and make it look anything good. I'm not sure what to do for my line now because do I want to do the black or do I want to do a brown? And I had taken a brown pencil. I'm going to try the brown first because I can always make the brown black, but I can't make the black brown. Oh, this is one of those stupid pencils. All right, I'm not sure if it's going to work because I have to. I like the ones that you can just mechanically turn up, not the ones that you have to sharpen. Yeah, I think the brown might work. My thoughts are going in so many different directions these days, so you have to forgive me. as I say, there are so many changes coming, and they're coming on so many different levels that I'm not exactly sure where my life is headed. This is way, way too stubby a point at this point to give me a good sharp look. I am not loving this. I can make it look good. I can definitely make it look good, so it'll work. But is it going to be my favorite look of all time? I do not think so. All right, let me take one of these and let me just try to blend that out a little bit so it's not a stark line. Get it into that corner and kind of make the corner darker. So again, that's going to give me the lift for my eyes that I'm always looking for. And into the corner. Okay. So what I'm going to do, because I have a feeling I am totally tormenting you, let me just do something with my eyebrows. And this is the Anastasia Brow Wiz. So I'm going to use that one today. I always brush down, as I've shown you before, to get my basic line. I then work from that. This is a very skinny, skinny pencil. It's actually not my favorite way to go because I prefer it when I get the whole thing done in one fell swoop. No, I have two of these. The other one, the point is just a little bit thicker. So let me use the other one. Not much. Definitely not much. This is definitely not what I was hoping for. But I think the look in the end is good. And once again, down on this one, take this across, give me the basic shape, and then fill it in. Always, always harder on this eye than it is on the other one, which is strange because everything else is easier on this eye. No, I'm not loving this at all. Not at all. That's because I'm rushing through it as well. Okay. What I am going to do then is I will once again just take the one that's gone, that NYX, and use the highlighter part of it just under the center to give me that little bit of highlight that I will then blend out to give me a little more definition and to clean up under the eyebrow. That's it. I'll put on my mascara. Do you want me to do my lipstick? Maybe. Okay. If I'm going to do my lipstick, what I have to do first is I am going to have to do this and I have to tell you, of all the ones I have, and I have many, 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 my Tarte's Pro Glow to Go is my go-to these days. It really is. I'm going to take the top one, which is that pinkier shade today, because I went for a pinkier look. I'll tap it off, and I'll just put a little here. That's only because my fan brush needs to be washed, so bear with me. Again, I'll add just a little bit more to give me the glow here, and I always take it up to the eye as well, so I get that nice brighter look. And hopefully the look of skin that's just a little bit younger and a little bit moisturized looking. Okay, just a little on the tip of my nose. The lighting is really bad because you're getting these strange, points of light where they don't belong. It's a problem. All right, I'm going to do my Cupid's bow. And I will do on my chin just that little bit to create the look that it is a little farther forward. All right, I'm going to do the lipstick now, and I will line it with my Marinesse pencil. I'm going to do the darker. These are the two-sided pencils, and I'm going to use the darker shade. It's kind of a plummy color. And remember, I always go to the edge of my lower lip. Okay, so that gives me the nice line. I then, because I once again forgot to do it ahead of time, will add just that little bit of the shadow under the center of my bottom lip, just a little, to give me that pouty look. I will go for, let me do this one because this is available. This is the NARS Cruella. It's a velvet matte lip pencil that I got in that kit from Sephora. I don't like it for the corner. It's not dark enough. So I'll bring it forward. You know something? I'm really an idiot because I had wanted to go pink today and I totally forgot. All right, so let me see if it's too late to change. I'm going to take this powder pink. It's a really hot pink. Not my first choice, but, and this one is Milani. I'm going to go over that. I then wanted to come in with a lighter pink, but I don't have a lighter pink. I have Catwalk pink, and that again is Milani. None of this is coming out the way I would have chosen because I started with the way darker color. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add my ColourPop JIC gloss and see if that mitigates it at all. It's getting dried out. I think that makes it better. So once again, if you make a mistake, don't get hysterical because you can always fix it. All right, I'm going to go off camera and do my eyelashes. Oh, not because I don't want you to see it, but because it's boring. So I'll get that done. I'll be right back. Okay, I've got my mascara on, and again, I just used that one from Wet n Wild that I told you is the one out of all of them that I would definitely get again. And it did a nice job. I have no complaints about it. That one was the Wet n Wild Max Volume. So yeah, that worked just fine. I think the eye makeup is not bad. My lipstick, again, is not exactly what I would have chosen. I would just want to show you something. I'm going to put a tiny bit more of the pink on my cheeks just to try to balance it a little bit. Although the cheek color is really nice and it's quite subtle at this point, but I'm going to just add a tiny bit. Telling you, by the way, that this is the stupidest brush in the world. This was one of those dollar brushes from Shop Miss A. It's too soft for what it is, so it does not work. All right, so I'm just going to add a little bit more of the pink here to my cheek. And because this is not a subtle color, nor is it a subtle application, even though the brush doesn't really do much of anything, so I'll kind of blend it in with my fingers. Okay. Now, if that appeared to me to be like a streak of pink, what I would do next is just take my rotating brush again, just go over it a tiny bit, just to blend it in. There you go. And that makes it seamless. So that's it. Okay, to finish today's video, just tell me once again if you like the idea of the book to be about the ladies of YouTube, and I don't know if it would be something about the faces behind the ladies in YouTube, or I'm not sure the title yet, but that would be a fine working title. So tell me what you think, and ladies, as I say, you tell me if you would have any interest in being a part of the book and having me write about you with a connection then to your channel, so your viewers could enjoy reading about you as well. As far as the other stuff goes with why I got into what I do in terms of trying to help people, as I say, it started at that very young age, and it's a feeling that has been with me my entire life. Sometimes it has caused me a great deal of pain because in my effort to help other people when I was young and dealing with young people who can be extraordinarily cruel, by my standing up for other people who were seen as lesser in any way by the group, they would wind up ultimately taking that person into their fold and ostracizing me for having had the nerve to have stayed with the other people and tried to help them out. So that's my story. There's a whole heck of a lot more about it, and certainly about all of the many, many, many things I've known over the years. If you have any interest in knowing more about it, let me know. If you have any of your own stories to share, please let me know. You always know that I want you to be so much a part of who I am. So that's it for today. Take care. I love you, and I will see you very soon. And the ultimate finished product of who I decided to be today. So today it's one of my pretty hair days. So take care. Once again, enjoy, and I'll see you soon.